Hello YouTube. I have made a lot of videos about Ripple XRP in the last couple of weeks, or rather since I started this channel. And I get a few types of comments on these over and over. And those are people asking how much XRP they need to hold to become rich, essentially. It's usually phrased in a way, how much XRP do you think is enough? Or people telling me how much XRP they are holding and asking me if I think that is enough. So in this video, I'm just gonna go through how much spending $1,000 on XRP at the current value will get you in the coming years based on a few realistic and a few more outrageous price predictions for Ripple XRP. And I'm sorry, the air is very dry in here. Yeah, I am basing this on another video I did a couple weeks ago. I did a video called Can Ripple XRP Make You a Millionaire? And this presentation is an altered version of that one. Instead of looking at how many XRP you need to hold for these scenarios I'm going to go through, I'm looking at how these scenarios will turn out if you spend 1,000 XRP at the current value today. Today, $1,000 in XRP, with XRP currently valued at $28 gets you 3,448 XRP, and this is the number we will be working with in this video. Now, of course, I realize not everybody can afford to spend $1,000 on XRP, but what I've seen over and over again when people ask me this kind of stuff, they have like between $1,000 and $3,000 invested in XRP. And if you have less to invest, just take 10% of these numbers. If you can invest 100, if you have more to invest, if you can invest 10,000, just multiply everything by 10. That is why I picked a nice round number. And further, these calculations do not take into account coin burn, at least not the ones that I calculated myself. There are some price predictions by other people that might take it into account, but for my calculations, I felt coin burn was a bit too complicated to predict, so I didn't take it into my calculations, and all numbers are rounded to the last digit. So let's get this started with the first of the scenarios. Oh, and if you need some information on what XRP is, what Ripple are doing, what they are trying to do with their technology, there is a video linked in the description, as well as my Can Ripple Make You a Millionaire video. I will also link that. There's a video linked by a nice lady from what was it called? I think the company is called Esoteric Trading Solutions, who did a technical analysis of Ripple and who valued the company and the token according to standard financial models. And she explains what they are doing, which problem they are aiming to solve. That video will also be linked, and that is the source for 2 of the 8 valuations we're going to go through. But let's just get this started. I don't want to make this video too long. Scenario number 1. This scenario assumes that XRP returns to the historic high it has reached in the last bull market and will just return to that same price value again. Now, on January 4th of this year, XRP reached its all-time high of $3.84. Now, if you were to spend $1,000 on XRP today and buy 3,448 XRP, assuming that XRP returns to its historic high when the next bull market hits, which is almost a certainty if nothing goes completely wrong, they will be worth $13,240. So your $1,000 investment now is going to turn into $13,240 if XRP hits its historic high again. Now, what almost everybody is expecting is that the next time a full-on bull market hits, all the coins, all the tokens will return to their all-time high and go higher from there. So this is pretty much what 99% of analysts, of investors agree on, if nothing goes horribly wrong before. So this one you can pretty much count on. And just looking at here, 1,000 into 13,000, it's not millions, but those are still crazy returns. That is still a lot of money. That can make you a lot more financially independent than you might be today. That can pay for your rent for a long time and for your expenses. And if you have anything to pay off, that should help a lot. So even at this lowest valuation, this is the lowest one we will do in this video, that is still a lot of money to be made, even with a relatively humble investment of 1,000. Now, if you can't do 1,000, if you do 500, that will still go to 6,000 something. If you do 100, that will still go to 1,300, assuming the markets return to the same spot they were at before. Now, next up. This is the first of a couple assumptions made on the basis of predictions about total crypto market cap and assuming Ripple's XRP's position within the markets will remain the same it is now. Now, this assumption is that the total crypto market cap will reach $5 trillion US. Now, we have seen it reach, I believe, $800 billion before, and the way it has worked so far is that the total crypto market cap has just about doubled every year. So it has gone from 200 billion to 400 billion to 800 billion. And it has always crashed in between, but then it went higher. And assuming this, then it will get to 5 trillion sooner or later. And the second part of the assumption here is that XRP remains in third position, making up about 5% of the total market cap. That is where it is right now. So in that case, the XRP market cap would be 250 billion US, a lot of zeros here, with roughly 40 billion XRP in circulation. Now there are already fewer than that, but I'm rounding to make the calculations more easy. Right now there are 39 point something billion because there is the coin burn, and there will be fewer in the future still. So these values will all go up a bit. Now, if that assumption comes true, XRP, each token will be worth $6.25. Now, if you buy $1,000 worth of XRP today, the 3,448 XRP that you are buying will be worth $21,550 under this assumption. I would personally still consider this a very realistic scenario. This is just assuming that previous trends continue and that XRP doesn't lose much of their market share. And we don't really have reason to believe that XRP will lose market share. XRP is one of the more advanced technologically cryptos out there. Next up, scenario number 3. This is the same one as scenario number 2, but with the crypto market cap reaching 10 trillion US, which is more ambitious, but is also a number that various experts have predicted. Now, at that point, assuming once again that XRP remains in third position and makes up about 5% of the total market cap, the XRP market cap will be 500 billion, with roughly once again 40 billion XRP in circulation, rounded up of course. That means each XRP token will be worth $12.50. So if you buy $1,000 worth of XRP today, if you get 3,448 XRP for your money, those will be worth $43,100 if the crypto market cap reaches 10 trillion and XRP continues to make up about 5% of the total market cap. Now, this also more out there, but still very much a realistic prediction in my opinion. 10 trillion is a lot, but if crypto takes over in the way that we expect it to, it should reach a 10 trillion market cap in the mid-2020s. Next up, this one is a bit more ridiculous. Actually, this one is very out there. Scenario number 4. This one, assuming the total crypto market cap reaches 50 trillion US dollars and XRP remains in its current place at third place with 5% of the total market cap. Now, if you're just seeing that number, it looks like a high number, but achievable. But you have to keep in mind, according to the best estimates we have, the CIA estimates about how much money there's in the world, there are $80 trillion in the world right now. And that includes all kinds of money that isn't just cash. That is hypothetical money, that is theoretic money, that is financial, that is money that only exists on paper. So 80 trillion total. In this scenario, crypto would make up more than 50% of the money in the world. There will probably be more money in the world by then, more than 80 billion, but not by much. So this should be over 50% of the money in the world. This pretty much assumes total crypto domination. I don't know what you think about that. I'm just putting it out as a possibility here. So take this one with a lot of caution and a massive portion of salt. Take this with spoonfuls and spoonfuls of salt. In this scenario, the XRP market cap, remember XRP makes up 5% once again, would be $2.5 trillion. Once again, we have roughly 40 billion XRP in circulation. So with this scenario, each XRP token would be worth $62.5. So if you spend $1,000 on XRP today, buy 3,448 XRP, under these conditions, those would be worth $215,500, which is a crazy sum. Just think about it. 1,000 in, 215,500 out. That is insane. Like I said, this is assuming something that is not impossible, but much less likely and less certain than the previous scenarios. But I came up with a different scenario that I think is more realistic, at least in the short term. And that actually comes to the same number. So let's look at scenario number... it's coming. Not at the same number, but at a higher number. Scenario number 5. The total crypto market cap reaches 10 trillion. Remember, this is the number from scenario number 3, which is relatively high, but which various analysts are still predicting as a realistic level for the crypto market cap to hit in the next 10 years or so. But we're not assuming that XRP remains in third place for this. Instead, we are assuming that XRP becomes the number 1 cryptocurrency and makes up 50% of the market cap, gets a market share comparable to Bitcoin now. Bitcoin today is at 55% and has been hovering a bit over 50% for the last couple of weeks. So this is assuming that XRP takes Bitcoin's place and that the total crypto market cap reaches 10 trillion. In this case, the XRP market cap would be $5 trillion. Once again, roughly 40 billion XRP in circulation, which would put each XRP token at a price of $125. Nice round number. Now, if you spend $1,000 on XRP today and buy those 3,448 XRP, if we take that times $125 for each token, that would be $431,000. So in this scenario, you would be spending $1,000 and you would be turning it into over $400,000. Now, I don't know if this will happen. I don't know how realistic this is, but I wouldn't completely discount this possibility. Next up, let's look at some estimates from other people. The CEO of SBI, which is a Japanese banking and investment firm which is partnered with Ripple, Yoshitaka Kitao, predicts a $10 XRP in the near future based on Ripple's partnerships and their product's adoption, and currently values the tokens at that price point. So assuming you buy $1,000 worth of XRP today, so 3,448 XRP, that would turn into $34,480. Excuse me. So this is a prediction that a lot of people like a lot because it's in the short term, it's an actual expert making it. To be fair, he is involved with Ripple, so he is probably biased, but that is his short-term valuation for Ripple. I believe he said he expects this before the end of 2018. I don't know how realistic this is, but I think within the next 2 years, if Ripple finds the adoption that it expects, if all these banks that Ripple is partnered with start adopting their products, $10 per token is very much in the realm of possibilities. So in this scenario, in this much quoted prediction, if you invested $1,000 today, in a couple years you would have $34,480. That is a nice tidy sum right there. Now next up, and these are the last 2 scenarios. They are both based on the same prediction. Like I said earlier, the valuation by Esoteric Trading Solutions, applying standard financial models to Ripple. They are under the assumption that Ripple solves 10% of the $24 trillion problem caused by SWIFT. SWIFT, of course, the international monetary transfer system that has been in use since the 70s. That is very slow, that is very expensive. And a component of SWIFT is that banks have to hold on to billions and billions and billions, actually trillions of dollars, and not just dollars, in every currency, that they just have them sitting around in accounts where they can't invest in, where they can't do anything with them. And Ripple's aim is to solve that problem by using their technological solutions and the XRP token. And if Ripple solves just 10% of that worldwide problem, if Ripple just finds 10% adoption by banks, and the crypto markets mature to the point that they start pricing tokens according to standard financial valuation models, after 2 years, each XRP token would be worth $34. Now, once again, If you invest $1,000 at today's XRP value and get 3,448 XRP tokens, those will then be worth $1,151,632. So assuming this standard valuation, this is just a normal system that has been used in the financial world for decades to value companies and assets. If Ripple solves 10% of the problem it is aiming to solve, after 2 years, XRP would be worth 334, and your 1,000 invested would turn into more than $1 million. Now, at this point, that is crazy. Under this assumption, you can become a millionaire from spending $1,000 now. But it gets crazier because this same financial valuation model, if you enter 3 years instead of 2 years, it gets to this. $892 per XRP token. Now, once again, you buy 3,448 XRP at today's value of 28 cents. You spend $1,000 now, and they, under this assumption, with this valuation model, Ripple solves 10% of the $24 trillion problem. The markets mature and start properly evaluating tokens. After 3 years, those XRP that you bought for $1,000 will be worth $3,075,616. Wow. That is a crazy, crazy proposition. Now, I'm not going to say which of these I personally think is most likely to happen. I think they become more outrageous as the prices go higher. But I think for the biggest part, I made sure to exclude completely ridiculous predictions. These are all either based on valuations that were professionally made by people who have been in the financial world for decades, or they're based on predictions about the market that a lot of analysts share. So that is why I chose these 8 scenarios. And I hope I was able to respond to the question, how much XRP do I need to hold, with this video. If you have any more questions, do leave them in the comments. I hope this was fine. I do have a final slide here. Conclusion. Even investing a relatively small amount of money, you can make real life-changing profits investing in XRP according to all credible price predictions. Even at the lowest prediction, if you invest $1,000, you still get over $13,000 in return. Depending on where you live, depending on how high your monthly costs are, that is a neat sum of money already. And that is at the lowest valuation here. That is the one where I'm willing to say that will almost certainly happen within the next 2 years. Like Ripple to $3.84 again, that is pretty much a foregone conclusion. That will happen. Only a question of when. And then once you go higher, you get into the high tens of thousands, you get into the hundreds, you get into the millions based on a $1,000 investment. Now, like I said, if you can't afford to invest 1,000, if you invest 100, just divide all of these by 10. Those are still potential insane profits. Last up, we don't know which of these predictions will turn out to be accurate or how long it will take, but the consensus is clear. If nothing goes terribly wrong with the markets or with Ripple as a company or XRP as a token, the value will go up significantly. This is what I'm going to leave you with. Now keep in mind, I am not an analyst, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm just presenting the best information that I could come up with, the best valuations that I could find. Please do your own research. And also keep in mind, even if you believe in Ripple with all your heart, always diversify, never put all your eggs in one basket. Something unforeseen could always happen, so keep that in mind. Aside from that, I'm going to end the video here. I want to thank you all for watching. I hope this video was useful for you. If you like this video, leave a comment, leave a like, please subscribe if you want to. And in the description, you will find a link to my previous video, Can Ripple XRP Make You a Millionaire? That this is a reworked version of. You will find a link to the source I used for the last 2 valuations. And that is also a good video explaining what Ripple is and what they are dealing with. And there are also my social media links. There is a Binance referral link if you want to trade on Binance, if you want to help this channel out. If you sign up after using that link, a small portion of your trading fees will go to me, with no additional cost for you. So if you want to help out the channel, sign up to Binance using that. Binance has hundreds of tokens on it. You can trade any altcoin there. Anything you need, you can go to Binance. Or my donation addresses for XRP, Ethereum, and Bitcoin are also in the description. I appreciate any donations. And that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.